Just recording this because I left a comment and it was about 10-15 minutes ago, not even. I didn't even come up here. You know, it's like it didn't even accept my comment or something like that. You know, very odd, very odd. But here, let me write it again. War in Ukraine reaches pivotal moment, intelligent officials say. And then, you know, they're gonna something first of all, that's funny because now it says stalemate in the video. Before it said stalemate. This is ridiculous. Like, how do they even? I mean, I guess they could, you know, update the video. This is insane. This is crazy. Unbelievable. I should have recorded earlier. You know, but it doesn't even matter right now. I don't know what's going on. This is weird. This is very weird. It said stalemate. This wasn't an L. They misspelled it. I saw that. It's the same video. Unbelievable. Oh, there it is. Stalemate. Prolonged stalemate. Oh, okay, I'm not going crazy. And then it says, alright, you know what? Alright, they just fixed it later when they put it that. Alright, whatever. Still incorrect spelling, but it's not about that. Yeah, my comment didn't get posted. And U.S. pledges additional $1 billion in military aid for Ukraine. I mean, a couple weeks ago, Biden wanted to, you know, he asked Congress for like 30 or 30 some odd $billion or more to Ukraine, and it's like, you know, every couple months they give $1 billion reinforcement. I mean, and you know, they're making war even worse in my opinion. You know, it's like, here it is. Ads. Yeah, I already need ads. That was from when? Not even that. Which countries are sending military aid to Ukraine? The Al Jazeera article. That was from 28th February, updated March 3rd, so 3 months ago. And here we go. A lot of them did. I was surprised. Canada states it's in the blue. They're members of NATO providing military aid. This one, I think it's either Sweden or Finland. I think it's Sweden. Non-NATO member providing military aid. They're the only ones that are not NATO, not in NATO, and they provided some type of military aid. A lot of them did. I was surprised. I didn't remember hearing about it, but United States, the whole European Union as a whole gave 450 million euros. That's $502 million to Kyiv. The UK, right, where is it? France, the Netherlands, Germany. Yeah, that was a while ago, you know, a couple months ago. But it's like, you know, those soldiers lost their lives and civilians and all that. My issue is, you know, they have the Ukrainian army. Are they sending all types of U.S. and all these other troops on the ground? You know, manpower. You know, because you get the only money, rockets, this and that. And I mean, you know, and then in another article I read that Ukrainians didn't even want to touch the new weapons. They didn't know the drones. There was too complicated for them. They wanted a user-friendly drone, and I can understand that because it'll take maybe a couple of weeks to train somebody how to use that. You know, and if you don't have the manpower or the people that know how to use certain weapons, then you know it's like, what are you gonna do with that? They might not even know how to use them. But let's say you do train them. They're saying that they were saying that 60 to 100 Ukrainian soldiers die every day. That's roughly 2,000 soldiers a month. So of course, and Russians are losing their soldiers too, but who has more manpower? Because you could send money, and they're not sending a lot of money, but yeah, I mean you could send reinforcement and all of that. You don't have the manpower. I mean, Russia over here is going on all type of fronts. Day 5 was that day 5 of the war? See, I don't even know. Let me see. It was Yeah, that's from March. All right, well, I guess that was the one, two, three fronts over here. They're trying to actually 3 fronts, but they were at different fronts. So yeah, it's pretty intense what Russia were doing, right? The Russo-Ukrainian War. These freaking ads. They don't even care. They don't even matter anymore. The leaders also offer coveted backing for Ukraine's candidacy to join the European Union. France France pledged 6 additional howitzers, some kind of military, um, just I guess some kind of weaponry. I don't know if it's a tank or something like that. I don't even know, but it's like, why do they donate little by little? Why don't they just overflood them with all this stuff and let them get it over with? The military tactic in this is just it's unbelievable. At least in my opinion, I know Russia's supposed to be a superpower, but it's like, in NATO, there's all these countries, even the U.S. The U.S. alone could just donate so much military equipment. I'm not talking about putting troops on the ground to get in this, but it's like, well, you're giving them money. I mean, you're part of the coalition, right? So what is that for? Just to give funds? That's not pretty smart, is it? In my opinion, at least. Ukraine's allies need to accelerate their military assistance and other forms of aid before war fatigue takes hold in the West, and Russia makes territorial gains that could become permanent. Estonian Prime Minister Kaja Kallas said, "Yeah, I mean, they could just take over a part of Ukraine, and then you know what? I mean, a couple months go by, they could strengthen it, could restart the war again. It's a tactic that's on the table." Uh, But I was never into this freaking war. I'm not into any wars. When it all started, I just felt like um, there was tensions with Russia for over a decade because Poland always wanted some kind of defense shields in case Russia fired missiles and stuff. I remember they were talking about years ago and stuff. At least I heard people talking about it. I just I wasn't into politics and all that stuff, but the fact that we don't have better trade deals and all that. It's ridiculous. Well, let's see how the war looks right now. Russia, Ukraine. Well, still there's no freaking um, updated June 17th. All right. Uh, Russia's war in Ukraine. Oh, it's CNN. mm. Conditions in Mariupol now medieval, says Ukrainian city official. Yeah, I bet. I mean, look at that. Looks deserted. Oh, it's pretty disgusting. Okay, I don't want to hear one particular city. Fuck. I don't know which words to pick to find out, but May 31st. Ukraine has identified 600 Russian war crime suspects. Yeah, but there's people committing war crimes, you know. Who knows if they're not committing on all sides? I mean, you know, it's easy to just say Russia did this in a time of war. I mean, what are you going to do? I mean, very few people would, you know, have moral integrity and all that. Who knows what people are in there, you know? I mean, people do crazy stuff in a time of war. It's the picture I seen earlier. Like, what is the date? Updated May 31st, 2022. I mean, you know, it's that whole East Crimea, Mariupol. So I guess Russia took this over already. You know, they're moving in city by city. I mean, that's, you know. I mean, I'm not gonna state that obviously they should have went to the north too on all fronts, but you know they're going all the east from the south. I mean, more than an estimated 7.5 million refugees have fled for neighboring countries since Russia invaded February 24th, according to the United Nations High Commission for Refugees. Some went to Belarus, 16,000, Poland, 3.9, almost 4 mil, Slovakia, Hungary, who's Hungary? Moldova, half a mil. 1.1 million went to Russia. Alright. I don't know if anybody knows how it feels like to desert your home in a time of war, but it's pretty disgusting. It's traumatic. It's not a good feeling, you know. Zaporizhzhia nuclear plant. Russia forces seize the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant in eastern Ukraine. That was on March 4th. Uh, there's Reuters. And let's look at New York Times. Tracking the Russian invasion of Ukraine. Alright, this is 18 or 19 days ago or so. Yeah, I want something current though. Finland and Sweden consider joining Nato. Yeah, Sweden was the non-NATO country that gave assistance to Ukraine. Finland's to the west, I believe, of Sweden. Alrighty. Oh, no, I was wrong. It's Norway. But Sweden was the one that gave the money, I believe. Alright. Yeah, it's April 30th. What the fuck is this shit? This video's gonna be a long one, I guess. Here it is. That's the state of the world right now. Just a bunch of dead people pretending to be alive.
Well, I'm joined in the studio by Justin Crump, a military expert.
Yeah, and obviously still very focused on that as the key part of the fighting.
Let's see.
First of all, Justin, what's the current situation around the Severodonetsk area?
Yeah, I mean, obviously still very focused on that as the key part of the fighting. Russian troops closing in on the city. We think it's
The chemical plant. Well, that's not good.
around 2,500 defenders, principally in the area, the industrial area around the Azov chemical plant, with around 5.
Let's see. The red lines or red is the Russian control. So that's where Russia is occupying the territory. And the orange or the yellow is Ukrainian reclaimed territory, which there is none. Russian claim this. Russian. Oh, she's standing in the way. Advances, chances.
100 civilians also in that area, so kind of shades of what happened in Mariupol. Smaller scale,
Why is she standing there?
and they're not completely cut off. So the river, the bridges have been destroyed, as far as I understand. There are still ways to get across, certainly for people, probably not for heavy equipment. So the fighting continues. It's a real grind for Russia here, but they are steadily gaining ground in the city at this point.
So if we zoom out a bit, what does that tell us?
Move.
The real fight is amazing in the way that Ukraine is still hanging on in Severodonetsk. It's the wrong side of the Donetsk River, as you can see there. And the more defensible position is Lysychansk. It's the other half of the city, effectively, on the high ground, on the correct side for Ukraine, the river. But the problem they've got is that Russia's trying to cut them off. They've failed in the past, but they're going to keep trying. They'll keep trying to cross the river up here. They'll keep trying to come up from Popasna. Now,
So I mean, I don't know how the troops are spread out, the Russian military, but this says they're coming 1, 2, 3, 4 for four fronts or 4 places. At least that's what I'm getting from this scenario, from this map.
that's stalled in the past, but they're keeping pressure on there and in depth. So actually, as you go towards Izium and the major cities in depth here for Ukraine. So you can see that defending this area is a lot to defend, and Russia can concentrate forces where it needs to over time. If they do break through elsewhere, it makes it very hard for Ukraine to hold that very far eastern end of this area. And that's one of the big challenges for them.
Now, we heard from Deborah about NATO and about the US announcement as well, about 800 million in weapons. These are some of the examples. Is it going to change anything?
See, that $800 million in weapons, that sounds like a lot of money, right? But how much is $800 million in weapons to begin with? I mean, 800 million as weapons, U.S. money, right? How much does that weapon cost? A couple million? I mean, yeah, you might send like 20, 30 of those, but it's like they're saying that that's a lot of money for somebody. But as far as military goes, is it a lot of money?
In terms of the bigger picture,
there's no silver bullet in this. But to put this in perspective, Ukraine's asked for around 1,000 artillery pieces. I think they're getting 18 on the current pledge. They've asked for 300 multiple launch rocket systems.
Yeah, I read an article. Ukraine's asking for a lot of weaponry. And months ago, there was like a dozen countries that donated a couple $100 million, this, and that. It was great. Like, how much is 1,500 or like 300,000 bullets to begin with, when there's thousands of soldiers shooting nonstop or something like that? I mean, it's you want to end this war, you shut it down. You don't play this little game.
3 from the UK, 3 from Germany, 4 from the US. So in terms of the scale of what they want to be able to have parity with Russia and to be able to eventually counterattack, regain territory, they are vastly short of that. And every round they're firing at the moment is coming from NATO. It's got to travel across the country to be fired. So there's quite a bit of work to be done, I think, if the commitments we're hearing in Kiev today are going to be met with really meaningful support for Ukraine to win.
Let's see, not that. Where is... Zelensky, ask for more weapons. I want to read, I don't want to see a fucking video, you cunts. Alright, yeah. And love the ads. Like, I'm really gonna fucking click on that shit. Fucking idiots. Alright, it doesn't have an overview of what he asked for. It had a detailed description of what he was asking for, or what the Ukrainians were asking for. And yeah, it was a lot, but I guess they know what they need, right? Not freaking a couple tanks and a couple grenade launchers and some billions of dollars. I mean, this shit doesn't even say it. I mean, go on and on with this fucking retarded stuff. Well, I can't find it. Look, whatever. Ads, and ads. Sell. Sell the war, sell yourself. April. I don't want anything from April. Why is everything? May 4th. Not even say it. Alright, this is getting really.
Бачите мене? Українці, українки, всі наші захисники і захисниці. Після ракетного удару по Тернопільській області в лікарні досі перебувають 10 людей. Не було жодного тактичного чи стратегічного сенсу в цьому ударі, який в абсолютно...
Well, obviously this is not here. I don't give a fuck. It's like, you can't even fucking write a fucking article, these fucking idiots. And fuck you not posting my comment, you pieces of shit. Fucking grimy whores. Anyway, he was asking for a lot. Maybe that's what they need to stop Russia. I don't know what the manpower is like, Ukrainian manpower, but there's people dying, there's kids missing, and there goes that freaking NATO coalition and stuff. You know what I mean? Here it is. To bring an end to the conflict, Ukraine needs 1,000 howitzers caliber 155 millimeter, 300 MLRS multiple launch rocket system, 500 tanks. Yeah, that's what they need. 2,000 armored vehicles and 1,000 drones. They need 500 tanks. You send them like, I don't know, send them a couple. I mean, what's that gonna do? But yeah, that's the war for you, and NATO support will help Ukraine modernize its weapons.
One more point to note, Linda, it was Chairman of the Joint Chiefs, General Mark Milley, who said the training on the HIMARS system, that key system Ukraine's been requesting for some time now, the first tranche of training has been complete, so 60 Ukrainian soldiers are ready to use that system as it moves into the country.
Again, with the training, I mean, it's so far into the war, right? It started late February, March, April, May, June, almost 4 months. And it's like they June 15th, this was published or whatever 2 days ago. 4 months, almost 4 months later, 60 Ukrainian soldiers are trained for a certain thing. Is this like the most unprepared, lazy, group of military people, or what? I mean, and why just 60? And not even that. Like, I mean, I thought this NATO thing, and when Ukraine was in NATO, they would prepare people for something like this. I just don't understand this.